think about this. You wake up in the morning, you get ready for a day of school, maybe a day of work, or you go out with your family and friends. And you get in your car, you're fired up, and off you go. Not once does a thought come in your mind that you're taking a risk by driving a vehicle, and that you could be involved in an automobile crash today. Well, driving is a serious thing, and there's always risk involved, and so it can either be a dangerous thing, but it's also a good thing. According to CDC.gov, accidents are one of the leading causes of death in the world. Of all the types of accidents, driving accidents are the leader. The idea of changing the driving age has been a popular topic lately, but with how impractical that is, it's just not a realistic solution. But what we can do, we can make driver's ed a mandatory thing for anyone, young or old, who wants to get a driver's license. Know that you can be a safe driver without taking driver's ed. It should be mandatory because everyone would have a better knowledge of the road, fatalities will decrease, and everyone will be eligible for other benefits that people who do take driver's ed can get. If driver's ed is mandatory, people are going to have a better knowledge of the roads. A standard driver's ed course in the state of Iowa, at least, is 30 hours in the classroom with an instructor, and then 6 hours behind the wheel with an instructor. Instructors teach the basics of driving, and then they also teach complexities. A lot of drivers can get behind the wheel. They've seen mom and dad do it for so long, and they think they know it all, and they might think that driver's ed is kind of a waste of time, a waste of money, and they think they can do it all, and that's not true. Some people can get behind the wheel and they're fine, but a lot of people can know every answer in the classroom. They can know the right and wrong, but if they get behind the wheel and they can't apply that, then it really shows that they don't know that much, and that the driver's ed course is probably something they really need to focus on and take a look at getting involved in. Learning in driver's ed is you get to learn from a non-biased approach, and you're growing up and you're learning with your parents. They tell you about their habits, and you probably pick up on theirs just from watching them over the years. But when you're in a driver's ed course, you can get a second opinion. Maybe you learn some different things that your parents haven't taught you, and then learning from as many different people as you can about driving is smart, because not everyone knows everything about driving. So there's so much to know, and the more people you can talk to about driving, the better chances you're going to have at learning as much as you can about driving, so you can be a safer driver. Our main focus has been teens so far, but it goes beyond that. Just because someone's 40 and someone's 16, it doesn't mean that one of them's automatically better at driving than someone else. If maybe a 40-year-old hasn't had their license for some reason, maybe they went to prison and they're finally free, now they're out and they get the chance to get their license, they should be forced to take a driver's ed course, because it doesn't mean that they're more ready just because the age difference. If you talk to McDonald's, they hire a 40-year-old versus a 16-year-old. They're going to train them both the same, because just because a 40-year-old is a little bit older doesn't mean they know everything there is to know about flipping burgers. So they're gonna train both people the same, because they want to have effective employees that can increase their revenue and be good on the job. Driver's ed should be mandatory because teen death rates are as high as they've ever been right now. According to teendriversource.org, quote, the majority, 75% of serious teen driving crashes are due to critical errors, with 3 common errors accounting for nearly half of these crashes. Lack of scanning that is needed to detect and respond to hazards, going too fast to road conditions, being distracted, end quote. Some of this can be blamed on psychology, because the human brain doesn't fully develop till your mid-20s. A lot of this can be blamed just based on lack of judgment, human error. A lot of people get in the car, they think they can have their phone out, they can text, they can check their Twitter, they can call someone, they can have the radio loud, they can be talking to their passengers all at the same time while focusing on the road. That's obviously not true. If it were true, we wouldn't be having this conversation, and the teen death rates and accident rates would be drastically different. Driver's ed instructor's job is to drill the fundamentals of driving and safety issues into teens' heads, and so that teens can know they can make the safe decision when they're driving, rather than just making a dumb decision and get themselves killed. Teachers can only do so much. The influence they can have on a driver can be the difference between life and death. Like, if they just are influencing them to make a smart decision and also be the safest decision, it could save someone's life. If driver's ed is mandatory, people can gain other benefits. A lot of people don't know this, but people who do take driver's ed, insurance companies see that and they can get a 5 to 10% discount on their insurance. A lot of insurance companies do this, but not all of them. But this can be a good benefit for a lot of people because insurance rates can be pretty high for some people. And insurance companies see this. They see you taking driver's ed and they see you that because you've taken 30 hours of class and then a 6-hour driving segment. A driver's ed teacher has deemed you ready to drive and safe on the road, and so insurance companies see you as less of a risk versus someone who hasn't taken driver's ed because they might not know exactly what they're doing. Now, just because you take a class on something doesn't mean you're going to be better than someone else. This is a true argument for some things. When it comes to an example like reading and speaking and writing, something like that, someone can be the worst speaker in the world, and so they need to take a class, and they need to get tips, and they just need to learn what to do and when to do. And some people, they can pick up on it right away. A class is kind of a waste of time for them because they know most of it, and it's not beneficial to them just to sit through something they already know. For driving, it's completely different. In driving's a risk every time you step in a car, and so the consequences of making a mistake in a speaking class can easily be corrected. And then when you're riding, you can always click backspace, but when you're driving, if you don't know what you're doing, you make a simple mistake, you can't click backspace. When you die, there's nothing you can do. If someone's injured, you can't take back procrastination. You can't take back a dumb mistake and fix it all. Okay.
Well, I should hope so, because I'm laying on pretty thin. Hey, what are you pumping gas? They're all out. You only got diesel. Better go to the next station. What'd you do?
Okay, so something like this isn't a huge driving error, and it's not something that's likely going to happen to a lot of people, but it will happen, or it can happen. It happened to me one time when I was 16. I was about to go fishing with a friend, and we had everything packed up, and in my defense, it was him that didn't shut the door. He left one of the back door open, and I backed out, and my dad's van was sitting right there in the next slide over, and so the car door got caught on the van and just bent the crap out of it, and ended up costing me a new door. But something like this is completely preventable. If I would have been smart, I would have seen the door open to begin with, or I would have noticed the little light in the car, and then it wouldn't have cost me a new door for my mom. Someone's failed by a driver's ed instructor doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad driver. That's also true. A lot of people can be good drivers, but when most people take driver's ed, they're teenage, and so they just lack experience that adults may have. My dad teaches driver's ed in Des Moines area for Street Smarts, and he says, quote, "Failing kids can be tough because you know they can be good drivers. Most just need more experience, but I can't grade them based on potential," end quote. Most students he has that generally score higher in his class and pass with really good grades are the ones that have more experience with their parents prior to taking the class. The ones that don't do so hot, they lack experience, and as a result of that, they're more vulnerable to making mistakes. And as a result, my dad has to fail them because they aren't ready to be on the road by themselves. driver's ed is not required by law in any state, and you can get your license without it, but it's offered everywhere. It's a really smart investment. It may be kind of pricey, but in the end, you're going to learn a lot more about driving. You get the chance to be evaluated by a professional instructor. So it should be mandatory because driving always has risks, and something you could learn in a class could potentially save your life.